the silent language of discomfort, understanding your cat's boundaries. Welcome to a comprehensive exploration of the feline psyche, where we peel back the layers of domestic bliss to reveal the subtle frictions that often go unnoticed by even the most devoted owners. You likely perceive your home as a sanctuary of comfort and safety for your cat, yet many of our most common human habits are perceived by felines as intrusive, overwhelming, or even physically distressing. Cats are masters of stoicism. They do not always hiss or scratch when they are unhappy, often choosing instead to internalize their stress or withdraw into a state of quiet resignation. This video is designed to bridge the communication gap between our species, helping you identify 10 common behaviors that might be inadvertently damaging your bond with your pet. By understanding the biological and evolutionary roots of their preferences, you can transform your relationship from one of accidental imposition to one of genuine mutual respect. We will examine how our sensory-heavy human lifestyle clashes with the refined instincts of a predator that is also a prey animal, ensuring that by the end of this guide, you will possess the expertise required to provide a truly harmonious environment for your companion. To understand why your cat hates certain interactions, we must first look at their biological blueprints, which are vastly different from our own. Humans are primates. We are tactile, loud, and social creatures who find comfort in tight embraces and direct eye contact. Cats, however, are solitary hunters with sensory systems tuned to a frequency far beyond our perception. Their sense of smell is roughly 14 times stronger than ours, and their hearing extends into ultrasonic ranges, meaning that the normal environment of a modern home can feel like a sensory assault. When you wear heavy perfume, use citrus-based cleaners, or play loud music, you aren't just creating a vibe, you are overwhelming a nervous system designed to detect the faint rustle of a mouse in the grass. Furthermore, their skin is incredibly sensitive, populated with specialized nerve endings that make certain types of petting, especially heavy-handed, stroking or touching the belly, feel overstimulating or even painful. Understanding these physiological constraints is the first step in realizing that your cat isn't being difficult or moody. They are simply reacting to a world that was built for humans, not for the delicate requirements of a feline. One of the most significant psychological hurdles in cat ownership is the human tendency toward anthropomorphism, or projecting our own emotions and social needs onto our pets. We often assume that because a hug makes a human feel safe, it will have the same effect on a cat. In reality, a hug is a form of physical restraint that triggers a cat's fight or flight response, as it mimics the sensation of being captured by a predator. Similarly, we often force social interactions when guests arrive, dragging a hiding cat out from under the bed to be admired. From a psychological standpoint, this strips the cat of their sense of agency and control over their territory, which is the cornerstone of feline confidence. A cat that cannot choose when to engage or when to retreat is a cat that lives in a state of chronic anxiety. This psychological friction often manifests in misbehavior, such as inappropriate urination or sudden aggression, which are actually desperate attempts to regain control of their environment. By recognizing that your cat views the world through a lens of territorial security rather than social obligation, you can begin to respect the psychological boundaries that keep them mentally healthy and stable. Let us look at some specific real-life examples of polite human behaviors that are actually feline faux pas. Consider the way many owners approach their cats, walking directly toward them and reaching down to pat their heads. In cat language, a direct, frontal approach with prolonged eye contact is a challenge or a threat. It is the feline equivalent of a stranger running up to you on the street and staring intensely into your eyes while trying to touch your face. Another common mistake is the tummy trap. When a cat rolls over and shows their belly, many owners see it as an invitation for a rub. While it is a sign of trust, the belly is also the most vulnerable part of a cat's anatomy, protecting their vital organs. To them, the belly rub is often a betrayal of that trust, leading to the infamous grab and bite reaction. Furthermore, the way we feed them, placing their water bowl right next to their food, goes against their ancestral instinct to keep water sources away from potential contaminants like prey. These small, everyday actions may seem insignificant to us, but to a cat, they are constant reminders that their natural instincts are being ignored or misunderstood in their own home. The impact of these misunderstandings extends far beyond a momentary hiss. It can lead to a phenomenon known as feline displacement stress. When a cat is constantly subjected to things they hate, like being picked up against their will or being forced to live in a house with constant loud noises, their cortisol levels remain elevated. This chronic stress can weaken their immune system, making them more susceptible to illnesses like urinary tract infections or skin conditions. You might notice your cat over-grooming a specific patch of fur until it's bald, or perhaps they become Velcro cats, clinging to you out of insecurity rather than affection. On the flip side, some cats become ghosts, spending the majority of their lives hidden away to avoid the unpredictable affections of their owners. This emotional distance is a tragedy for the bond you're trying to build. When you realize that your cat's quirky habits are actually coping mechanisms for the things they dislike, the urgency to change your approach becomes clear. It is not about loving them less. It is about loving them in a language they actually understand and appreciate, rather than a language that causes them distress. So, how does a sophisticated owner rectify these common mistakes? The first step is to adopt a consent-based model of interaction. Instead of reaching for your cat, try the finger sniff test. Extend your hand at their level and let them come to you. If they rub their cheek against your hand, they are giving you the green light for a brief, gentle scratch behind the ears, their preferred zone of affection. If they sniff and walk away, respect that choice. Furthermore, you should audit your home for sensory triggers. Swap out harsh chemical cleaners for unscented, pet-safe alternatives and provide vertical territory, like cat trees or wall shelves. This allows your cat to observe the room from a position of safety, satisfying their predatory need for height and surveillance. If you have guests over, tell them to ignore the cat entirely. Ironically, cats are often drawn to people who ignore them because those people are the least threatening. By giving your cat the power to initiate and terminate interactions, you are providing them with the highest form of feline luxury, the freedom to be themselves without the fear of being overwhelmed by human expectations. Becoming an expert in cat behavior also means learning to read the microsignals of their body language that precede a blow-up. A cat's tail is a highly expressive barometer of their internal state. A slight twitch at the very tip is often the first sign of irritation, long before the ears go back or the fur stands up. Similarly, pay attention to skin rippling along their back or the sudden, frantic licking of a paw after you've petted them. These are signs of overstimulation, indicating that they've had enough. You should also be mindful of your vocal volume. While we love to baby talk to our pets, high-pitched, loud squealing can be grating to their sensitive ears. Speaking in low, calm, and consistent tones creates a predictable environment that fosters safety. When you begin to align your behavior with these subtle cues, you'll notice a remarkable shift in your cat's demeanor. They will become more present, more relaxed, and more likely to seek out your company because they know you are someone who listens to their silent communication. This level of attunement is what separates a mere pet owner from a true feline guardian and partner. In conclusion, the journey to a deeper connection with your cat requires a willingness to set aside your human ego and embrace a feline perspective. It is a process of unlearning our own social habits to make room for their ancestral needs. By eliminating the 10 things they secretly hate, from forced hugs and direct eye contact to sensory overload and territorial instability, you are removing the barriers to their happiness. Remember that your cat does not see you as a master, but as a giant, slightly clumsy social companion who controls the resources of their world. When you provide a life that respects their biology and honors their psychological boundaries, the rewards are profound. You will witness a cat that is truly at peace, showing their affection through slow blinks, quiet purrs, and a relaxed presence that no forced interaction could ever achieve. Thank you for taking the time to invest in your cat's mental and emotional well-being. By applying these expert insights, you are ensuring that your home is not just a place where your cat lives, but a place where they truly thrive. Your commitment to understanding the hidden meanings of their behavior is the greatest gift you can ever give them.